What is the role of Mexican manufacturers in the cleaning and sanitization industry? Are we looking at two different worlds here, or can we see the benefits of working across borders? Well, to help bridge the gap on this is our guest today, Jaime Herrera. He's a longtime member of ISSA and the CEO of Key Química, which also works with sister company Cyan Labs. Both are Mexican-based cleaning industry manufacturing organizations. Well, Jaime, thank you for joining us today for this important discussion. Those watching this today should see a strategic opportunity with what you share with us.
Thank you for the invitation, Jeff. It's a great opportunity to speak about this important topic for us. And before we start, I would just like to apologize. With English not being my maiden language, I sometimes have a hard time, trying to find the right word. So I thank you for your patience.
Great. We have a few questions to consider, important ones. And the first one is this, Jaime. How do you see Mexican manufacturers' position as a potential source of supply for the cleaning industry in the United States and Canada?
Well, Jeff, I consider that even though there's some roads that we have to cross, I feel that Mexico has a great potential to integrate as a potential source of supply as it has been done in other industries. If you take a look at the automotive industry, I think that Mexico has demonstrated that we have some world-class operators, and we have been able to be very successful in that chain of supply. Also in the aerospace industry, it has been set a very good example of what Mexico can be as part of the supply chain in that industry. On the other hand, there are some, if China is being able to manufacture and be a good source of supply, I don't see why Mexico try to fill those gaps or be a potential source. I find that in the janitorial industry, there are several categories in which Mexico could be a great source of supply.
Good information, and it makes sense. Another question would be, do you see structural aspects that provide advantages to the Mexican manufacturers for all of North America?
Structurally speaking, there are several aspects that I consider in which we can bring some advantages as a supplier. Labor, we have world-class labor. At the same time, labor, it's less expensive here in Mexico. And even though it's a temporary advantage, it could be a very good starting point for the Mexican industry. Not only labor, not only the operators, but in terms of research and development, we have world-class researchers, people that have been educated in world-class education systems that are great researchers. And we have been able to develop, and I'm going to speak about the case of our company. We have been able to develop world-class formulas and products. And I see a handful of companies that have been able to put together some solutions for the sanitary industry, showing no disadvantages and being able to have large research teams for less than, in the United States, trying to put together a team of these capabilities will be far more expensive. On the other hand, and I think it's also structural, when you go to liability insurance and other type of insurances, expenses like worker compensation in the United States have become a burden. When you put it in your cost structure. Here in Mexico, those aspects are less expensive or have been less expensive. And that also bring an advantage to Mexican manufacturers.
So what would you see for Mexico's cleaning and sanitary industry contributing with technology?
Well, and here again, I think that's a great question. And I sort of started asking it. The cost of research and development, it's something that could be far more advantageous for a Mexican company. And there are, besides the cost of the researcher, there are some institutes or institutions that have been set by the Mexican government that help us with that type of research. CONACYT, it's a center for research that has been helping Mexican companies to develop projects of innovation that I mean, with great results. There's a center here in Monterrey that we participate in which we have conducted several projects with nanotechnology or with some other type of detergent molecules. And I mean, there are some products that I feel that are right there. I mean, it's a good source of innovation. Also, it has, in the past maybe 10, 15 years, the methodology of innovation has become something much more structured and developed here in Mexico. And I think that technologically, there are several product segments in which we can have a great contribution.
I'm sure you can. My last question is, what disadvantages and challenges do you see as a manufacturer trying to participate in the US and Canadian markets?
I will say, Jeff, that maybe the greatest challenge that we have is that we have to overcome a stereotype. I mean, it even affected, years ago. Maybe that's not the story today. But years ago, even here in Mexico, the potential client normally was thinking that if something was coming from the United States or from Germany or from Canada or from Japan, it was better than Mexico. I mean, that was sort of an stereotype. We even created a term for that has to do with ancient history. I don't know if you have heard the term Malinchism. Malinchism, it's related to Malinche. Malinche was a native Mexican that when the Spaniards came, she helped translate the Spaniards and help the conquering of our territory. So when we speak about Malinche, normally we're thinking that everything coming from the outside, it's better than what we have here. And it was a very strong stereotype. With the quality schools, with the quality certifications and with the Mexican industry growth in the past few years, that stereotype has been overcome here in Mexico internally. But I think that still in the United States, many people can not see, how can a Mexican company come and bring me something better than what I have here? Unfortunately, there has been maybe some bad experiences. One of them that I can talk of that it's recent was the ban or the emergency that the FDA declared against the sanitizers coming from Mexico, the gel alcohol-based sanitizers coming from Mexico due to methanol in the formulation. That was something that reinforced, that bad image of the Mexican manufacturer. But I can say that it was something very specific. The truth of the matter is that with the emergency, many opportunistic companies came into manufacturing alcohol-based products. And due to the lack of supply of alcohol-based products, the FDA kind of lowered the standard for getting the certificate or the registered, and that was somehow several companies took that advantage and started exporting the product, affecting the formal manufacturers like our case, Cian Labs. It took us almost 4, maybe 5 months to get into the green list and get accepted, to keep exporting our alcohol-based products. And it was a pity, because the image of the whole industry was at risk due to that situation. But today I can definitely say that there are a handful of companies that are getting to the quality standard, understanding all the regulations. Mexico has been improving the regulation. Today, in terms of occupational safety, we have, I will say, the exact same regulation you have in the United States. We are in the global harmonized system. We pretty much cover the same type of rules. It's maybe still not the same in the environmental side, but we're coming along. And in the sanitary side, there's a very strong regulation. I can tell you today that it is harder to get the good manufacturing practice standard from the Mexican COFEPRIS, that is our FDA, than from the FDA in the United States. We have both. And it's harder to get it from COFEPRIS than from FDA. So I think we're coming along. We're understanding the market globally, and definitely I think that we can bring some advantage to the trade, with our offerings.
Well, Jaime, this is great information, and all of this can help bridge the gap between countries when it comes to manufacturing. And I hope those watching this, especially in the manufacturing sector, reach out and have further conversations with you about this entire concept.
Thank you very much for your invitation, Jeff. It was a pleasure.